Hi, welcome to the Patty Jewett neighborhood here in Colorado Springs. It is between the Old North End and the Patty Jewett Golf Course. It has beautiful old historic homes, and I am so excited to introduce to you an old historic home in this Patty Jewett neighborhood. So come on in. Let me introduce you to John and Tricia.
Come on in.
We moved here in July of 2016.
Yep.
We had been living across town and we're trying to figure out where we wanted to live, and I picked this neighborhood because it has trees and all of the new developments don't have any trees, or they're like baby trees. So it was either this or OCC, and we ended up here, which we love. We came from New Orleans, which has insane history in houses, and when we were looking at houses, we wanted something with a lot of character, something that wasn't just like a cookie cutter house, which is funny because back in the day this was a cookie cutter house.
Right, being a Sears craftsman.
But it's not anymore.
So essentially, people could go into a magazine and select a home, and then it was just delivered in a kit, and
you built it.
You built it from there. So it was the original, I guess, mass-produced, mass-designed.
That's what I'm saying. It was a cookie cutter house. But I think you can't tell that they were all Sears kit houses anymore because everybody's done work to them and added on to them and painted them. So now I think they're all pretty unique. From what we can tell in the neighborhood, there's like 3 different variations. Ours being, I think, one of the smaller. And then there's a little bit bigger with the porch that spans the whole front, but I think it's the same size as this one. And then there's a footprint that's bigger than ours that probably has 3 bedrooms instead of 2. I don't know. We stalk a lot of people as we walk to like look inside their house.
On the Stroads.
On the Stroads. The Stroad is a street road, which is what they joke that our streets are because they're so wide, which was for horses and carriages back in the day, but they're enormous.
Right. So the house was built in 1925.
No, 1924.
1925. The perils would be the foundation, but the foundation's not that big of an issue. We have a toilet in the middle of our basement that's just sitting there.
We have no closets.
No closets at all. Nope.
Which has been fun. And there's just random like electricity things and squeaking sounds that you just, the house is almost 100 years old. I'm shocked it still looks this good.
I'm not allowed to do electrical work.
We do also still have the original fireplace.
The original fireplace.
And it's like engraved in the inside of the original holder, like inside of it.
It's a fleur-de-lis, which is actually kind of funny coming from New Orleans, that when we found the house, we saw that. And that, personally for me, that was like a
sign.
I want this house.
We also, like, the mailbox when we moved in was the original mailbox from 1920s.
I have that downstairs.
There's just random stuff like that like, people just kept because it's so much character.
So I went to the downtown Pikes Peak Library, and what I found out is that the house built in 1925 was built by a couple that was teaching Russian to residents of the Old North End. Patty Jewett was sort of used as the servant or the worker neighborhood for the Old North End. And
that's why our houses are half the size.
In 1938, they sold it to the Frizeries. I might be saying that wrong, but they were the county morticians. So there might be some dead bodies that live in the basement. Not quite sure.
There's not.
And then it was vacant in 1939. And then
we bought it from a couple who had kids who lived here for 8 years, and they bought it from the Sidaways,
who are professors at Colorado College.
We still get their mail. So we know pretty much everybody who's lived here.
Yep.
Carl and Kathy next door, our neighbors, have lived there for 50 years. So we know a lot of things about our house and the neighborhood from them.
We've got chickens, we've got bees, we've got
plants
and vegetable gardens all over the property. And then the whole front of the house is a wildflower pollinator garden with some edible plants in there as well.
The dogs love it. We had an apartment before this and Zoe hated it.
This is Zoe.
And now she's... But yes, they bark at everything. We have a lot of people that walk around. It's a very active neighborhood. People are just always doing stuff.
Yep.
So there's a lot for them to think is a threat, even though it's just people walking and kids and things like that. Especially being 2 blocks from the
golf course. In the summer, it's a lot of activity, especially with the 4th of July fireworks that happen and the block party, which is Patty Jewett Porch Fest, which is it's one of the things that I love about the neighborhood, being able to just walk block to block to block and listen to live music and just gather with the neighbors and hang out. So
When is that?
that's in September.
Like 2,000 people come now. It's like big.
Wow, that
Yeah,
is huge.
they get food trucks and close the streets off, and I mean it was. We found some cool stuff in the backyard.
Found a lot of cool stuff. Actually, let me go grab it.
Like this kind
Our
of stuff.
backyard has been sort of, I don't know if it's a dump. I don't know what happened, but this is like a lady's brooch, or it would have been used to like hold a photograph of somebody. It's got little angels and stuff, and then it's done in a
Where did you pull this
metal of some sort from the backyard. Piece of coal from the original heating system that was outside the back. A little vial. And
Whatever that
this weird talisman witchcraft looking thing.
After John and Trisha told us a little bit about their home, we decided to go and take a tour.
Something interesting about this room that we found out after we moved in is that the French doors that you see on this side were actually placed over here. Can't really see it, but they were basically in the middle of this wall, and which leads into what is now our guest room. And the people that lived here before us closed it off and then moved the French doors over here to make like a full living room. I don't know how this would have been set up with doors into another room. It's kind of weird. But they did that, and so now there's like a very clear living room space, and then that leads into the dining room.
So the dining room, we don't know much about anything that has sort of changed. We've painted it. When we bought it, it was a mustard yellow in here. And there used to be a bench right here that someone has removed, and we found that out from our neighbors next door. And then off of the dining room, you can either go into the kitchen or the bedrooms. So let's go into the bedroom first.
Yep, this is the guest bedroom. You can kind of see on the walls where the door was originally. You can see that they have a line there. There's also a door we found over here when I was painting this wall. We have no idea. It led into the bathroom, I'm assuming, but in what capacity, can't really tell. Our bathroom is very small, so it seems strange that there would be a door in it, but it definitely at some point was. And this is what we consider our master bedroom. It is the bigger bedroom of the two. It also has a closet that John and I share, but it is really a one-person closet. Eventually, in the next couple months, we're actually remodeling, so this will become a master bathroom closet space, and then we're gonna add on a master bedroom to complement that.
Back into the dining room and into the kitchen. The kitchen is where we've done most of our remodeling. We've painted it, and then we added some granite countertops, that a backsplash, and a nice farmhouse sink.
And new appliances.
New appliances, yes.
And then this space back here, we actually is an add-on. The house originally
Stopped
pretty much
right
ended here. So this was either a back porch or they just added it on for additional space. It does open up the galley kitchen, which is really nice, but this back room is a little bit unused for us. So when we do our remodeling project, we will extend this to become a more practical mudroom, sunroom space with a little bit more room.
Yep. The outside.
Through the shack.
The backyard. Welcome to spring in Colorado. It's a drought. Hank's favorite toy. And
we did a little bit of work in the backyard when we moved in. We stopped putting effort into it because it's going to be ripped up when we remodel in a couple of months. But when we bought it, it was a dirt square.
Yep.
And now it is rocked, and we have a hangout space. It's not really put together because winter ended like yesterday. But yeah, it's a good spot.
we got chickens, got a couple of raised beds, and yeah.
And that's our house.